This was the Giant of Kandahar. This took place in Afghanistan back during while we were patrolling Afghanistan. I think we still are patrolling Afghanistan, but this was back during the Iraqi war, when the area was super hot. Okay, so the story goes, and this story was actually originally broken mainstream by a guy named L.A. Marzulli, who not only gave all the details of the story, gave the entire story, but he actually met firsthand witnesses that were there and vetted all of them. You know, these were military personnel, vetted all of them to make sure that they were credible witnesses, to that, you know, they were actually who they were, and, you know, to pretty much make sure they weren't just, you know, filling in full of crap at the time.
And make sure all their stories matched up.
Right, right. So the story goes that we were in Afghanistan at the time, and the army, it was an army battalion. They dispatched a group of soldiers to drive around, patrol the area, search for high-value targets, which is basically, you know, weapon stashes, little militia groups, camps, you know, anybody considered to be an extra threat beyond, you know, just random pockets of people, you know, throughout that area. So they leave to go out to search for high-value targets. They don't come back. They miss the time of their first rally point. They missed that time. And so they met them at their second rally point. They missed their second rally point. So they went on ahead and sent out a patrol to their third rally point. So they missed 3 rally points by now. And now they know that something most likely very wrong with the situation. So what they do is they send out a search party for the people who went searching earlier. They end up driving through the mountains, and they come across this area where they said there's busted equipment, blood on the ground. They said there's torn clothes. They even found some body parts in this area. And this was, like I said, this was all corroborated by actual like military personnel who were at the scene and who were there at the time. They look around the area. Not far from that area, they found a cave. So they approached this cave. The next thing they know, they said this huge giant. They described him as having long red hair, 6 fingers, 6 toes, 13 to 14 feet tall, comes rushing out of this cave, roaring with this long lance in his hand. One of the guys, I guess he freaks out and breaks away from the group and starts shooting at the giant. The giant rushes him, and they describe this giant as even being as tall as he is and being as big as he is, super nimble, almost like a freaking tiger. Pounces towards this dude, scoops him up on the tip of his lance, raises the guy in midair like he was nothing, and lets out this crazy roar. Somebody screams, shoot him in the head. So they all open fire on this giant, shoot him in the head, and I guess they unloaded enough bullets. They said they basically decapitated this guy. He falls down dead. They radio back to their base and tell them what happened. They send what they said was a one of those big green cargo helicopters. It showed up with this massive net. They load this giant up on this net and take him to, and they were specific on where they took him to. They took him to Wright-Patterson Air Base to process the body, bones, all that stuff, whatever was left, you know, when they were done studying it. So they took it off. They bring I guess they take up the dead guy, the soldier. They bring all the people who were there at the time back to the base to debrief them. They tell them to write down everything that happened. Don't leave anything out. So they all wrote it down. All their stories corroborated. All their stories matched. They read it, and they're like, okay, now we need you to rewrite it. Leave out the giant. Basically, there's no way of denying that there was a firefight. There's no way of, you know, like hiding it, but leave out the giant. That way it looks like they were just fighting people.
Insurgents.
Just like, insurgents. Regular old people like you and me. So they all had to rewrite it. They all had to leave out the giant. And that is kind of where that story stops. And, L.A. Marzulli, he was at I don't know if you'd call it a convention, symposium, whatever it was. He said he had a guy come up to him who was also part of a later version of that situation that played out. Like 1 or 2 years later, a dude come up to him, or a 1 or 2 years later, the guy was telling him that there's like a couple years later that they were doing cave fighting training. And one of the things they told them is if you're approached by a target, a hostile target, to aim high. And they're like, okay, like this high? You know, thinking head high, you know, aim 6 feet higher. So they're like, no, aim 9, 10 feet high. But they wouldn't tell them why they were aiming 9, 10 feet high. They were teaching them how to fight giants without telling them that these were giants. But yeah, that was a crazy story. That's one of the first modern day giant stories.
Well, I mean, yeah, but you know, there's Native American tales of giants right here in America, where about big, massive, 8, 9, 10 foot tall, red-headed giants that were somewhere here. I mean, I should have done research on this. I can't remember the tribe that was fighting them. But anyway, supposedly the tribe chased them back to a cave.
What you're referring to is Lovelock Cave.
Yeah, where they built the fire in the hole.
Yeah, they smoked them out and suffocated.
Well, yeah, and then years later, like not somewhere in the last, 20, 30 years maybe, if that long, researchers went there and found bones in that cave, big old massive bones in that cave.
Right, yeah. From what I hear, that area's giants. That was their last, stand. Shoot, I don't know.
Lovelock Cave.
I would imagine it's probably like New Mexico, Arizona, Nevada.
Yeah,
it's
somewhere.
From what I hear,
it's
a western one.
But I can't remember the tribes. What's killing me? The tribe that was fighting.
There's a slight continuation of the whole the giant of Kandahar story as well. Now, keep in mind, this isn't. They don't directly connect it to the giant of Kandahar. Oh no. Let me go back.
Yeah, you thought.
They actually, yeah. Well, it's been a minute. We meant to talk about this last week, and ended up everything got crushed and destroyed, and the schedule got messed up. But they said that they sent a much larger patrol back to that cave to fight those two to go back and see if there were any more giants left in that cave. They said when they went into the cave that there were 3 giants in that cave. There were still, even after, they killed one, they took their people away. They probably cleaned up the area. They took the giant, the dead body, all that stuff away, our soldier that was killed. They went back into the cave, deeper into the cave, to see if they could find any more giants. They said there were 3 giants. They said they ended up killing 2 of the 3 giants, and right before their very eyes, they said the 3rd giant vanished in midair, which is weird because, it goes along with what we've been hearing about Bigfoot and all that. Yeah, go ahead. That's
the only thing that messes me up. The only reason I raise my hand is our production manager says we're talking over each other too much.
We are. I've thought that myself.
But that's the only part of the story I'm gonna say. That he vanished. Was he Bigfoot? He just vanished.
No, see, that's the thing is people keep talking about Bigfoot like maybe he's interdimensional, and I'm still torn on the Bigfoot thing. I'm not 100% sure.
I'm torn on the interdimensional.
But you hear that he's possibly interdimensional. I heard a story not too long ago about a dog man. That this was I was listening to Ninjas or Butterflies, and one of their
shout out to Ninjas and Butterflies.
One of their best friends personally knows a dude who went hunting. And he was out at night. He said he could tell something wasn't right. So he ended up looking around and saw basically this almost like dogman, werewolf, whatever you want to call him, was kind of just sitting there staring at him. And he said he ended up raising his gun and shooting it. It let out this crazy blood-curdling howl and took off. He said he actually tracked it for a little bit and realized that was the dumbest decision he's ever made.
I wouldn't track it.
Right. So he left. He comes back that morning when it's daylight with a friend. The 2 of them track him. Blood and tracks through the snow until they find a clearing where the tracks end and the blood ends. There's no tracks, no blood anywhere else. It's like he goes and he disappears.
That was his extraction point, a helicopter.
Picked him up and, big old
drop the ladder.
Big old furry helicopter.
Yeah.
But either way, though, you hear more and more.
The Thunderbird come down and snatched him up.
You hear more and more about these cryptids possibly being interdimensional, which would kind of make sense, I guess. I mean, if you're if you're into that kind of stuff, if you believe it, why they're never really found dead. You know, you can't really hunt them like and successfully trap them or anything like that. You've never seen a dead body of them.
Yeah.
But oh, that, like I said, I was about
maybe if they die, they automatically pass back over to where they're supposed to be.
It sounds like you're joking, but it sounds like that could be an option. I mean, honestly, that could be an option. But I come across this video recently talking about giants, not specifically the giant of Kandahar, but this dude was saying that he knows. He said a friend of his, a girl, works for the military, and she claims there are deep underground military bases, DUMBs, a lot of people call them, under Kansas. And that if we knew what was under there, that we would all freak out. But one of the things she described to him was the bodies. And the weird thing is he never said if they're dead or they're alive. But massive, 12 to 14 foot tall, red-headed giants.